Huh? Oh, let's do this. Hi, folks. How are you today? Wonderful. Wonderful. Welcome to our first ever Speakers Series event. Woohoo! That's right. All right. It is fitting that this is Superhero Day here at Shawnee College because there is a real superhero in our midst. Young Mildred Henderson right here. She's our first speaker. We have a couple more of these lined up, trying to bring some cultural diversity to your world. So we're going to have two more events, one in March. Mr. Smith-Fulia right there will be leading that presentation in March. And then this guy will be doing the one in April for you as well. So, all right. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Miss Mildred and her topic, volunteerism today.
Hello, Shawnee College. I'm truly honored when they ask me if I would be willing to speak, because this is a topic that's very, very near and dear to my heart. Those who know me slightly know that I'm into something, but those who know me well know I'm into this especially. So today I want to be very inspiring, if I can, to get those who don't volunteer to think about it, to open your hearts. And when you open your hearts, your eyes are open to opportunities to volunteer that you may have never seen before. So today we are going to look at this topic from all its aspects. What is it anyway? You know, the dictionary has a definition for volunteerism that may not be exactly what you were thinking it is. So by the dictionary it says it's a policy or practice of volunteering one's time or talents for charitable, educational, or other worthwhile activities, especially in your community. And it's generally considered to be altruistic, which means you're not doing it for money or prestige. You're doing it because it's the right thing to do. So who does volunteerism and why do they do it? Well, the answer to that is just as unique as each one of you here. Everybody has a reason for doing the things that they do, and they have reasons why they don't do certain things. So for volunteering, for example, if you have a neighbor or a friend who has had their home destroyed by fire, you might be motivated to volunteer to do something because it affects you or someone you care about. Then again, when we had the flood, we volunteered, some of us, our services. We volunteered to help people, bring food, bring clothing. So that brought out the volunteerism in some of us that we had not used before. Then again, when we are asked to give blood because of a shortage of blood supplies, that may pique your interest if you know someone who needs blood, or you've had an opportunity where you needed blood yourself and someone came to your aid. So those are the kind of big picture volunteerisms. But here at Shawnee College, we've got a lot of volunteerism going on that if you're not in it, you may not be aware of it. So we want to cover those topics as well. We have an Easter egg hunt coming up, and that's an opportunity to volunteer to fill eggs with candy. And bring your children. It's open to the community, and we need people to help keep the kids in line, keep them safe, and to give out prizes. So that's an opportunity that you may not have thought about, but it is part of our volunteering program here. We have festivals, spring and fall, where we need volunteers to participate to make it an event for all of us on campus. Of course, our financial aid office offers volunteer opportunities for those fortunate enough or smart enough to be on scholarship. Phi Theta Kappa has a volunteer program of its own called Helping Hands. I'm honored to be the vice president of that, so if you don't know of any opportunities, I certainly can turn you on to some because I know of many of them. Again, we want to look at volunteering as something that isn't something we have to do, but something that we're inspired to do. So within our communities, we have fall festivals in most of the communities in our area. Olmsted has a Catfish Days, Grand Chain has Grand Chain Days, Ullen has a festival in the fall, so does Mounds, and Pulaski has a Pecan Bonanza. So all of those opportunities are there for us if we want to participate, either as an individual or part of a club here at Shawnee. And of course, we live near the Ohio River. They have Ohio River sweeps where they want people to come and clean up the debris that is accumulated to keep the area really looking good and safe. So that's an opportunity as well. And again, the local blood drives that we have, sometimes they're here at Shawnee, sometimes they're at local churches or schools, but they are, again, volunteering opportunities. So let's talk about the benefits of volunteering, other than what I've told you already. If that doesn't cover it, I can talk about some more. First of all, there is a therapeutic benefit to volunteering. You may wonder what I mean by that. I'm a survivor of domestic violence, and when I decided to volunteer at a shelter for battered women, it was very therapeutic. It gave me the strength that I needed to deal with what had happened, help other people, but it also taught me to view myself as a survivor and not a victim. If you know someone who has possibly had a episode or something's happened to them, rape or sexual assault, you might consider answering a crisis line, or you might consider knowing more about it so that you could be a support. That's another form of volunteering, and it is very therapeutic. It also gives you good experience. For instance, if you're interested in a job at a hospital, if you went there and offered to volunteer in any capacity, you could get a better idea of whether that's something you really want to do, whether that's an atmosphere you really want to be in. Sometimes you think something's perfect for you, but when you get closer to it, it's not. So it could give you very good experience if you're willing to volunteer. And of course, it looks good on your resume. Mr. Stout will speak very briefly when I'm done about what that does for your resume. Employers want to know that you're about more than a paycheck. I know that we all want one, and we all would love to have a bigger one. However, companies are looking for people who are willing to go beyond themselves for others. That lets them know that you are a well-rounded and well-balanced person. And I just can't get over this particular part because this is what works for me. It makes me feel good to do something that no one asked me to do. I don't get a paycheck for it. It doesn't necessarily come to everyone's attention, but after I've done it, I feel really good about myself. And whether you have high self-esteem or low self-esteem, it can do wonders for making you realize that you have a purpose for being here and that you can affect others in a positive way. So that's those are the benefits. So let's talk about the negatives of volunteering. Some of you may think it takes up too much time, you're not getting paid for it, who cares anyway? Personally, I don't agree with that, but I want to say this. No matter why you go into volunteering or find yourself maybe drafted into volunteering, when you volunteer, something happens. Whether you do it for the right reason or the wrong reason, it always turns out to be some benefit there that you may not have seen. So really, there are no negatives. Absolutely not. So please consider going out and doing it. And I'm going to ask Mr. Stout to just speak briefly about what that does for your resume.
Wow, you did a great job. So one thing to remember, along with your resume, it looks great on your resume. So you're doing it for the intrinsic benefits, just because it makes you feel good. You're going out there and you're helping people, you're helping your community, but also it looks good on your resume. Now, something else that I wanted to bring up that you may not be thinking about right now. Right now, we have a federal hiring freeze. The state of Illinois is in a mess. But let's say that you want to go into social work, or you want to go into forestry, something like that. Well, this would be a great time to volunteer. You get out there, you say, hey, I'm willing to volunteer. I know you're not going to be hiring, but I want to volunteer. Can I do that? They may say no, they may say yes, but either way, you need to try. You'll never know if you don't try. So you get out there, you volunteer, and you never know. When the hiring freeze is done or the state of Illinois passes a budget, then possibly, hey, you did a great job. You've already got your foot in the door. And that's another key. Whether you're volunteering or doing a regular job, always do your best. Because it doesn't matter what it says on the resume. If they call and they say, hey, how did Russ do? And they go, well, they can't say a lot, but let's say they say, would you hire him back, or would you hire him? No, I wouldn't. So you need a great job when you're volunteering, no matter what you're doing. My mom taught me that. No matter what you do in life, do the very best job that you can. So make sure that you do that. Let's see. It helps the community. You learn. So if you're volunteering for this organization, they're not hiring, but you're volunteering, you're gaining experience. I know of a place in Marion, and they have interns and volunteers every summer. and usually that's where they get their hiring, who they hire from. They get together and they say, okay, Thomas did a great job for us, and we need to hire somebody, and that's what they do. So anyway, that's just a real quick summary. Mildred hit all my other points, so I'm not going to go over them again.
I would like to pose just one other thought. When he was talking about doing things when you know there's no real money in it right now and they're not hiring, I've worked in a nursing home, and when they were unable to keep me as a part-time receptionist, I volunteered to keep working until times got better or just as long as I could. I didn't do that because I was really thinking they would hire me, but I enjoyed the work very much. I enjoyed being around them. I had the time. So if you can, I realize you're young and you need money, so you can't be as, how can we say, as unselfish as someone my age. But if you have the opportunity to do something and you're not getting paid for it, if you think about the benefits and how that helps, and it really did help, so it made me feel good. Another volunteer opportunity that I had was at a place where I hope to be employed someday, Shawnee Development Council. But I volunteered there because I really admire them. They do great work in the community, and I enjoyed the work. So whether I get the job there or not, I still would be willing to volunteer because I really enjoy working with the community. So keep in mind where your passion is, because wherever your passion is, it may or may not lead to a paycheck, but it will definitely make you feel good. Thank you. Wow. So again, consider that possibility, and whenever you have the opportunity, also look for the little opportunities. Maybe there's a family that needs someone to look after their children so they can spend a little time together. If you know someone like that, a young struggling family, and they trust you enough to watch their children, why not offer to do it without being asked? Or if you see someone struggling with lawn work and you know they're getting older and you're able to do it, why not offer to help without them saying, "Can you help me?" It's great to say yes when you're asked, but it's much better when you do it without being asked. So consider that possibility. Thank you for your attention.
Since I realized I did a poor job. One, I'm Tim Frizzell. It's nice to meet you. I'm the speech teacher here at Shawnee College, so I forgot to mention that. And this is Miss Mildred, too. I forgot to mention this. I was trying to get to her talk, so I know. So, and Miss Mildred is a student here at Shawnee College. I don't know why I assumed everyone knew who you were. Right, no, that's not. No, I just sort of assumed that, but she's a student here at Shawnee College, a former speech student of mine, as well as you've taken almost all of my classes, haven't you? All of my classes. And survived. All right. And survived. So wonderful. She was our first guest speaker, and just to not take anything away, I'll add one thing. She mentioned she volunteered for Shawnee Development. Volunteerism can be your foot in the door to get that paycheck, because well, they may look at her one day and say, "Hey, Mildred, you've been volunteering all this time, now it's time to pay you." Right? So you can always look at it as a stepping stone, too. You may be free for a while, right? But you can certainly get paid back. So I want to thank you very much. Thank you all so much for being here for our initial event. Hopefully you'll come back in March to hear Mr. Smith-Fulia, who will be speaking about living simply and intentionally, right? Like in a tiny house? Okay. Not just tiny houses. Right. Awesome. All right. Again, thank you guys so much. That concludes our presentation for today. We appreciate you all coming. Look for the flyers. And there are muffins in the back of the room for your eating enjoyment. And a sign-in sheet as well if you did not sign in on your way in case any teachers are giving extra credit and stuff. We got your name there. So sign in if you haven't done that. Thank you all so much.